True this.
Okay, you pay heavy attention to the NBA East. You actually pay attention to the whole NBA. Shouts to the NBA report, which I'll be appearing on later. But with that said, we're more than halfway done with the season. Who is the NBA MVP of the first half of the season when it comes to the Eastern Conference?
Cade.
Why so?
It's Cade. I mean, you look at how that Detroit team is playing, man. I mean, they're just clicking on all cylinders, and they're following his lead. And you have to be, from a basketball observer standpoint, from an outside, his growth and trajectory with that team. I mean, this is a Detroit team that was in the basement even when he came in as a rookie, and he stuck with it. He accepted that role as a leader of that organization, as a leader in that city, and he's really brought that city back, that team back from the grave, man. JB Bickerstaff deserves a lot of credit, along with a lot of their other lottery talents. I mean, you can see the improvement on all their lottery picks, especially this year, but it's Cade, man. I think his strength is underrated. In terms of his physical strength, is very underrated. The mid-range shot, his playmaking, obviously off the charts. His rebounding, he's becoming a defense. He's becoming a two-way complete player, and he's got his team in first place. So, yeah, you can talk about Jaylen Brown and all of that, and he deserves a lot of credit for where he's gotten the Celtics without Jason Tatum. And without everybody, basically. You got a brand new Celtics team for the most part. Derek White still being there, but it's got to go to Cade. I think Cade is hands down the MVP of the East.
Detroit has to be the biggest concern for the New York Knicks, right? When we're talking about yeah.
Big time.
I mean, that team defends. They all protect the rim. Cade's playing at an MVP level. Jalen Duren took a leap. And, to the point, MVP for Cade, I mean, they lost 3 good offensive players in the offseason, and now they're even better.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, look at all the improvements from their lottery picks. Jaylen Duren, insane. Yeah. He's going for MIP. Ron Holland, young player. I think he might only be 20, maybe 20. Big improvement over his rookie year. And I've been watching him from Summer League 2 years now, straight in. So I've been seeing how good this guy has gotten. The kid from St. John's is a revelation for these guys. All these guys play.
Stewart is tough.
Stewart is tough. Look at Asar, how he's getting after it. All of these guys have improved, man. And so, it's like I said, compliments to them, compliments to JB Bickerstaff. They are a well-oiled machine. Their locker room is united. And they what I've noticed is like their attention to detail for the little things is major, because like I said, Cade can cover a lot of their holes, but when you got like you can't blink when a shot goes up, because Asar's crashing, Ron Holland is crashing, Dante Green, what's the other journeyman's wing's name? Javante Green. Yeah. Dog. They're all playing like dog. Duncan Robinson's getting after it, and then he'll sprinkle a 3 or 2 in there. So they're tough, man. They're unbeatable, no, but they will be tough. And so, look, for the Knicks, you're going to have to go out there and earn it. And if they see each other in the playoffs, they're going to have to see each other in the playoffs to get through them. It's going to be interesting.
You're a Knicks guy through and through, but if you were the decision maker for Detroit, do you look to trade for a Laurie, to trade for an MPJ, and really put all your chips forward for the Detroit Pistons?
They could, and they could be scary doing so, but I'm not so sure they're willing to disrupt some of the chemistry. Maybe if it's a cheaper deal where you traded Tobias Harris and maybe a young
who's
player.
Actually been a great locker room guy for them too.
Great locker room guy. Yeah. So they have a good thing going there, and I'm sure they're confident that they could probably win the East with what they have, but it would be dangerous if they were to package up. They haven't made much moves, right? Like, this is a team with a lot of lottery picks and then vets signed on the cheap and draft capital. That's a scary thing for a team like that that's on the rise and with the wherewithal to be even better.
You made a mention of Jaylen Brown in that MVP Eastern Conference conversation, and I think there's an interesting story brewing with the Boston Celtics, because Jaylen Brown has always been known to be the Robin. I always felt he was just as good in Tatum in my opinion. But now, is there a world you think Tatum could return? Tatum play that Robin role, Jaylen Brown play that Batman role, and they win another championship? That would be a crazy story.
That would be insane. And I'm still curious to see if Tatum's going to come back. You're hearing the rumblings and things of that nature. I'm still a little bit skeptical. I think it's a little bit dangerous, to be honest with you, but hey,
as a Knicks fan, I think you want to tell the Celtics it's going to be dangerous, right? You don't want to see them back.
Slow down, but just take your time. Take your time. But look, I mean, this is the modern medicine. If they feel like he's ready, it's strong, he's ready to go, I think it'll be interesting. And if he does, I wouldn't expect to see the MVP caliber Tatum. It's going to take him a little bit of time to get used to that and be confident in going out there and playing at a high level. But for now, Jaylen Brown, man, he's playing with a chip on his shoulder. He doesn't appreciate the disrespect on the MVP ladder, on the All-Star talk, all the credit that Jalen Brunson and the Knicks are getting. So Jaylen Brown, who has hurt the Knicks in the past, he deserves a lot of credit for where he's gotten Boston at this point, because no one really expected. Everybody expected a gap year from these Celtics, and hey, maybe they go out there and make a move at the deadline and solidify their spot in the East. But regardless, they're going to be a tough out.
Warriors, Butler out, ACL injury. Does that change the trade market in any way for you when it comes to the whole league?
Well, I think, Mike Dunleavy came out with those comments about Jonathan Kuminga, talking about, he's demanding out, but there's no demand for him. Well, guys, you're not playing the guy. I mean, it's the most puzzling situation that I've ever seen, where people talk about he's not a good fit, they don't know how to play him. How about you just put the ball in his hands, put him on the basketball court, and see what happens?
Especially now, you have nothing to lose.
You got nothing to lose.
Play him 35 minutes and see what happens.
Yeah, you have nothing to lose.
I mean, look, he's contributed to championships. He's been a contributor on a championship team. He's had long stretches of 20-point game stretches.
Yeah.
And he scored 30 in the past. Like, why not? He's super talented.
And the thing is that with Kerr, he's shown that they kind of ran slightly different offenses between the Draymond and Steph group, and then they would stagger those guys with Jimmy, and Jimmy would have his opportunities. Steve Kerr's a championship coach. He's the guy. He's won multiple rings. Now you want to tell me you can't figure out how to use Jonathan Kuminga? Something's not adding up there. It's very interesting. And what will they do? Do they believe that they can make a trade? Do they go get LeBron? LeBron?
Is that what you're hearing, CP?
No, not sir. I'm just wondering, man. The news about
LeBron and Bronny for who? For Jimmy Butler? No, for who?
Right, for Jimmy Butler. Well, we got to look at the salaries, because LeBron at the 50 range, you do got to pull up a lot of salary there. But yeah, I think the Butler thing could make things interesting for Golden State and Mike Dunleavy, because they went forward with this team, bringing in a Horford and things of that nature, still trying to keep that window alive, even though it's very small, given that they got one of the oldest teams in the league, and they're competing in the West. But I think they could still look to make an upgrade there, swap Jimmy out for something, and keep it going. So it's going to be an interesting trade market.
All right, want to finish with some football, because we always love to talk about the greatest. We ask the greatest questions, CP. So with that said, who's the greatest quarterback of all time? No rings talk. No rings talk.
No rings.
Talk. I don't want to hear you say this guy has more rings than this guy.
Yeah.
Who's the greatest quarterback ever?
No rings. So
well, they can have rings, but I don't want to hear you talk about the rings. I want to hear you talk about the individual quarterback.
Listen, man. Look, I'm biased, but the greatest I ever seen was Dan the Man Marino, man.
I agree.
That was my guy. Gunslinger. Airing it out. My man was throwing 100 yards.
Quickest release in NFL history.
Bro, I don't know if anybody had an arm like Marino still to this day. You could talk Peyton. You want to look at Breeze, and obviously those guys broke all his records and stuff with the longevity and everything and the extra games. That's still my guy. It's Dan the Man. He never won it. That's why when you say no rings, I said, okay, now I'm going to talk about my guy. But obviously with the rings, you're going to go with Brady and stuff like that. But to me, best I ever seen, from a kid on down, Dan the Man Marino, man.
Totally agree. CP, where can we find you? Social media, everywhere else, the channel, 100,000 subscribers.
100K, man. 100K. Thank you, man. Yeah, CP The Fanchise on Instagram, on Twitter, at YouTube, KNICKS Fan TV, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, Snapchat. We everywhere, man. So definitely appreciate the time, man.
Appreciate your time. Talk soon.